our person today, man, this been like, so I got a best friend. His name is Jay Carr. She was my best friend before you. Cause you know, y'all don't know, but my first best friend was a girl. All right, she played Tonka trucks with me. Man, look, she wasn't no regular girl. All right, she was on the baseball field with us, man. She on Tonka trucks, man. She had big wheels. You know what I mean? She was like the one girl in the crew, and there wasn't no other girl. She was the only girl. You know what I mean? So, but this my dog right here, and I'm happy to have her on today. You know, and she gonna drop some knowledge. She gonna tell us what she came to talk about today.
We got a special show today. But
yeah.
First, we want to really start off, and we want to know more about you. Because me and you, we was talking a little bit before this, and you was giving me a little rundown. You are a master teacher.
Yes.
Like, you're a master. You said you taught grade 1 through 20.
K through 20.
K, I'm sorry, look.
It's all good, it's all good.
K through 20.
Pre-K, yeah.
Pre-K through 20. Talk to us a little about that though, like how'd you get started in that?
Yeah, well, first and foremost, I'm from South Phoenix, Arizona.
Man.
Born and raised throughout South Phoenix. Met Jason here.
Jason. I love it. I love when, see, that's how you know your real friends. When they know your real name.
Yes.
Yeah.
We got Jason Holloway here.
Yeah.
He was on the corner. I was 2 houses down.
Yes, he was.
Off the 1-9 in that
off
area.
the 9, man. Come on. Yeah. Off the 9.
Yeah, we used to play all the time.
I lived on both sides of the 9.
Hey!
It ain't too many people can say that.
So y'all grew up with each other?
Yeah. I know the earliest
Did you go to
days.
South?
No, I went to North. I'm from the South Side, but I went
Okay.
to North for the IB program. I know people still be mad at me, like, yo, when I came back, everybody was still here.
Yeah.
So, no, I did go to North. I know my family was upset. I was the first person to break the tradition. But I'm born and raised South Side. I went to Bush, went to Jurgensen, all that good stuff.
I went to Bush. You went to Bush?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Unfortunately, it's
Class
gone
of
now.
92. It's okay.
No.
It's okay.
Bush should be back.
When?
What?
Bush has turned into a skill school.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and watch this.
Did somebody buy it, or is it
Watch
part of
this.
Roosevelt?
And the African American lady has everything to do with it.
Is it still gonna be called Emma Bush?
No, it got a new name.
So it's gonna be a whole
See,
watch
you
this.
gotta honor Maxine Bush.
Watch
Yeah,
this though.
for sure.
She's already a part of Roosevelt. This was an idea she had. That's the lady I gave the backpacks to, eh?
Oh,
Lady, I
okay.
gave it back.
Okay.
We just gave away. See, that's how you know Jesus. He gonna get
But
us. He gonna get us.
hold on. Maxine
No.
Bush was my mother's teacher.
Okay, watch this. All I'm saying is,
You
when y'all
she was your mother's teacher.
thought it was over, man, there's a new black regime coming in.
Come on.
And she's taking over Maxine Bush. I know it's like a skill school, but man, I think everything it's about. Y'all might want to check into it. I didn't get a lot of information off of her, but it goes through Roosevelt School District. Right?
Okay.
And it's an African American lady, man. It's crazy because I forget her name, but I want to make sure I push her. I'm finna go back and try to find her.
Yeah, we gotta find out more about that because that's different.
Me and Abe just gave her some
Enough to
backpacks.
that.
She came and bought some food. She told me what she was doing, and I gave her a bag full of backpacks.
Okay.
Right? I said, hey, you got any kids? Just take it. Let give them to them. You know.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know what I mean? But she's opening up Maxine Bush. It's a skill school. I can't think of what the name she told me, but
I'm gonna need them to keep
it's
it
back. It's back open, man. And to be honest with you, what I think she's doing is probably finna be major because
I hope so.
she bringing back like stuff where your kids have craft when they done.
Oh, we gotta talk.
Yeah.
We
That's
gotta
what she bringing back.
We need to speak.
Yeah,
That
she
needs to be
bringing
spoken.
back your
Teach 'em a
kid. Your
trade.
kid gonna graduate with a craft
A trade.
in the
Skill.
dough. Yeah.
Okay.
Skill, yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
Can you do me a favor and just move your mic to the middle? Because your earrings hit me.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Slide on over.
But
We
yeah,
good? We centered?
keep giving us a little more about you though.
Yeah, so I did go to Bush, and Maxine Bush was my mother's teacher, by the way.
Oh, no, that's
and-
amazing. I'm sorry. I hate to stop you there. because-
I didn't go to Maxine
Can you give me a
Bush,
little
man.
bit of that?
Yes, my mother, after 40th Street School in Okemah, in the Okemah community, Arizona's own one of our Black Wall Streets, if you will. She went to, at the time it was called Palmdale. I forget the new name of it all of a sudden.
Valley.
No.
They got a new
I
name.
know what you're talking about.
Oh my goodness. Right there on 32nd Street.
Right.
And like Weir, I believe, yeah, over there. So Maxine Bush taught there, and she taught my mother, my uncle, and so Dr. Eddie J. Lewis, who was the first principal of Maxine Bush School, got the school named after her while she was living. Most people don't get that privilege.
Oh, so she
until
got her
they're
roses
passed.
early.
She got her roses while she was living.
Hey, that's
and
love.
Do you know what year that was about?
Maxine Bush started, had to be my third grade year.
Yeah, it was like in the 80s, man. It was like 88,
87?
88, somewhere like that.
87, 88,
Yeah.
86, around there somewhere. Mid 80s for sure. I have to go back and look, but definitely this is actually part of the topic I want to bring to us today is around cultural sanctuaries and the necessity of honoring our history in our public spaces as much as possible. But about me in general, I am raised here, proudly raised in South Phoenix, and I've spent my entire life being an educator, learning. I love to learn, I love to teach. The only thing I love to do more than teach it is learning. So I've spent my life learning about education for education's sake in terms of making sure I have firsthand experience. You know, you
make
can
sure
read
you
about
read the
something,
TikToks,
you
see
read
what
the
the-
articles, you study it, you know, talk about it, but there's nothing like actually being on the front lines, being in the classroom, having that firsthand experience. So I literally have taught pre-K, kinder, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, undergrad, grad, and adult reentry across all the core academic subjects, and international, local, urban, rural, single sex, co-ed, large, small, public-private charter, you name it, intentionally, so that I can make sure that I have first-hand experience around understanding what is effective education. Like, how do we actually make sure that what we're trying to teach somebody, they actually learn it, and they learn it in a way that they can duplicate it and use it for the sake of building up our communities. And so I've learned how not only do we, example, you could take the same curriculum, the same strategies, and try them in two different settings, and one work and one not work. There's a whole lot of other factors you got to consider. How is the person delivering it? How did they show up to the space? What other factors were in place or not in place that made it more effective or less effective? That's what I study. So my doctorate is in education, interdisciplinary studies. Now we go beyond that, not just interdisciplinary, but transdisciplinary, meaning that what you learn holistically, like ancient African pedagogy, ways of learning, was never meant to be separate: math, science, language arts, social studies. It was never meant to be separate. And this is why some people will say, I'm really good at this, but not good at that. It's because most of our subjects have been taught out of context, right? Out of the context of how you relate it to your real life.
Yeah, I was about to say, expound on that a little bit. On what do you mean by out of context?
So you're learning math. You're learning, you get to a math class and a math teacher, and they're teaching you about, you got 2 water bottles and you got some apples and some oranges or whatever, and it's like, okay, cool, but yeah, I know how to add that up, but how does that apply to my real life? You know, one of the questions students will always ask, you probably have asked it yourself, why am I learning this? How is this relevant to my real life? Why you make me do all this work? I start with that conversation. I'm going to start with something to make you realize that what you're about to learn is necessary. I'm going to give you a question to make you think and be like, oh, well, wait, I don't know this because I need to know this, this, and this. So here are the questions that came up. Now there's intrinsic, there's internal motivation for the student to learn, as opposed to because they said so.
Can you give an example of how you set the context up for a student? You give an example of, because like I've experienced that. It wasn't until I got older and I started to want to build things. Then that's when all the stuff in school was like, oh, now I understand.
Okay.
They were trying to teach me calculus or trigonometry. Or even English, you know, when you're trying to articulate your ideas,
Right.
you know what I mean? And then it's like, I'm over here fishing for words and I'm trying to put sentences together.
Yes.
It feels like I'm reinventing the wheel and I know that's what they cover. But it wasn't until I started to build things. So how do you create context for students, I guess, let's just say in high school, so that they can understand the separate things they're learning? What's that one thing you center around?
Well, see, you said start with high school. I'm gonna go back to the earlier days, to preschool. Make sure they understand why they do what they do. Give them a scenario, just like you said. You like building things. You were probably building things when you were younger. You didn't wait till high school to start doing that. You probably had your Legos, your building blocks, and just taking stuff down and around. You may have built a fort in your living room or something. There was math, science. There were skills you developed earlier in life. If you give them something to do, and just let them figure it out on their own, and they realize there's a point where they have to stop and think, I don't know what to do with this. Now they have a question. Now they have a goal to answer that question. And so you have to think, okay, what skills do I need to get this? And so you can say, okay, let's say you want to build, just like you said, build something. You want to build a building. You're just not going to come and just say, okay, I'm going to build a building today. Okay, I've seen it done before. Okay, great example of Coming to America, the scene where Eddie Murphy is at McDowell's and he's been given the mop to mop the floor. He's like, what did he say? He said, you do know how to mop, right? He was like, I've seen it done before. He takes it and starts moving it around with the mop still in the bucket. Right, he wasn't taught. He realized there's something more he needed to know. So once you have that motivation to learn exactly what it is that you want to do for yourself, not because somebody else told you had to, but because you want to, now you're curious. Now we're going to say, you know what, oh, okay, you want to figure out how to make these stay together and not fall over. How do you reinforce these blocks so they stay together? How do you reinforce these bricks? How do you make sure that your air conditioning system is there? With all these things. All these questions come up naturally, and now these children, these people have something that they're looking forward to, and you can say, okay, I can give you the skills for that. Now they're listening. Now they're applying what you give them immediately to what they wanted to do, and they're seeing it be answered. They're seeing it come to fruition, to be being created, and what they wanted to do, and their desires, their goals are now being met with skills. And you've given them that. They're not going to question why I got to do it. They're already doing it.
Okay, but so what I see with younger people now is like my wife's brother. He's 18 and 19.
Okay.
And he's just like, he never knows, like, since he was 16, I've known him, I've known him since he was like 14. And it's always like, what are you going to do? I don't know.
He don't.
And I know, he never knows.
He doesn't.
And I brought him on set with me because I was doing the film. He said, we said, I went to the studios, and he's like, okay, that's cool, and then he never follows doing anything. So like, because like I'm hearing like the key to learning is curiosity, but it's like, what do you do when someone doesn't know what they want to do and they don't have that curiosity? How do you?
They haven't found that thing that piqued them yet.
I want to iterate some of that, man, because my kids have not far. Like I'm still got a kid in school. I got a baby in college. Jason was just in school, right? What I noticed today, man, it ain't just the kids that ain't the same. Teachers not neither. They don't know because they're not getting the love approach to them to open up a kid to figure out what he wants to do, because it's like they rushing the kids through school. You know what I mean? I don't know about what, because I know Sheila. I'm just telling you. I'm gonna just tell you what I saw. I saw some kids get rushed through school because either they don't want to deal with them or they don't have time, right? Because to me, a lot of the teachers ain't about the love no more. It's about the paycheck, right? So if they unhappy with the pay, they unhappy with teaching the kids. That's just what I saw.
I feel you.
You know what I mean? As a parent, that's what I saw as a parent, right? So we really do have kids that don't know, because if your teacher is just blowing you lessons, then how are you ever going to find excitement in it if he's not excited?
So, but I mean, I guess that's the individual. I remember, I couldn't tell you one teacher ever through the school. I was like, oh, that teacher, they said something. You know what I mean? Like, I hear people, they talk about this one teacher that they had. I couldn't name now one teacher. But I always knew what I wanted to do. I always was
Not in
curious.
all your years of school.
And it wasn't even an idea that he got. I just brought him an idea that my mom said I should do. And I brought it to like the band teacher, Mr. Bailey at South Mountain. I said, I think I'm going to go to Conservatory of Recording Arts for engineering. He said, oh, that's a good idea. That's the only thing I can remember if you asked me about a teacher, was him just affirming something that I wanted to do. But again, I've always been curious, so it wasn't necessarily the teacher for me. So would you say, is it always focused on the teacher for the curiosity, or is that something that comes from somewhere else and the teacher fosters the curiosity?
We have to understand that everyone in a child's village is a teacher. You might have that education title or teacher title as your professional role, but everyone's a teacher. Everything in this room right now, there's an opportunity to learn something new. Exposure. So if you haven't been exposed to many things, like most people when they say, okay, what do you want to be when you grow up? They stick to the basic doctor, lawyer, construction, all these things that you see in your typical bulletin board or what's taught in the old school curriculum of these are the kind of professions that are in the community and someone to do this and this and that. But we have to realize there's professions that we're going to need in the next few years and moving forward that don't even have names yet. Let me back up a little bit because you guys brought up so many weird. I'm like, ooh, all these ideas
No,
are
that
popping.
wasn't that. That was. I want you to go deeper into that right there.
I will. Let me say this: the mind is best prepared to learn when it fails to do what it thought it knew. Give somebody an opportunity to do something. Oh, I know how to do that. That's easy. And then they don't do it the way that they thought they were going to do it. Now, oh, wait. Now they're humble enough. Because so many people are like, I don't need you to teach me nothing. I know what I'm doing. I got this. This is easy. Or you see it done once. Oh, okay, I can do that. But when you really get in there and try to do it, and you realize there's something missing, or I didn't do it the way I thought I could, now you've humbled yourself. Now your mind is ready to learn and ready to receive. But we got to first open up that ability to receive information, because so many people are thinking because they saw it on TV, it's not a big deal, whatever. I mean, one example is like with TikTok, for example. With TikTok, right? People are learning dances all the time, and they're doing it. What you see that they post is probably the 200th version of that video when they were trying to get it down, but they got it, right? They wanted to do it, so they were excited to do something, and they went and they did. They went through repetition because it was important. There's two reasons why we learn: repetition and importance. If you repeat something long enough, you're going to learn it. Even if it's wrong, you can learn how to do something. You can repeat something many, many, many times and perfect doing it wrong. You know how they say practice leads to perfection?
Right.
Perfect practice leads to perfection, right? You have to be careful about what you're practicing. And quite often what we're watching on TV, what we're doing every day, the things that we're repeating are the things that we're learning. So we're constantly learning. You can't say a child doesn't learn. What everybody learns. Everyone learns. What you learn, how you learn, and how you apply it has to be intentional, right? We have to be mindful of that, because if you're not, you're receiving information all day, even in your sleep. You're processing what you learned that day. There's something in your subconscious that you heard or something, and it's there. Going back to teachers, or what about the teacher? Is it all on them? Of course not. Your parents are your first teachers. Right? There's been psychological studies done unethically where they had children, babies in a room that were given all the things they need to physiologically survive. You're giving water, you're giving shelter, you're giving food. But no love, no interaction, no conversation. Those children died. Those babies died. Crazy experiment back in, I don't forget what years that was, but yes, they did this. And those babies died due to a lack of interaction. So we know that interaction matters. People, you see a baby's facial expressions, they're gonna mimic what they're seeing, right? A baby's mother tongue, the rhythm of their voice, the tone, the language they speak, the way they say it, the way they walk. Yo mini-me probably walk just like you, right?
My mini-me, I'm the mini-him. He bigger than me. You know what I mean?
Right, but we see these things and our children mimic us, right? They mimic the environment around them. So if you have somebody who's saying, well, I don't know what I'm interested in just yet, that means they just need more exposure.
Okay.
They need more
They need more exposure.
I'm not gonna lie to you. It was one thing that you said that was very important.
Which part?
It's titles and it's jobs and it's things out there that we don't even know that exist yet.
Google, for example, not to shout them out, but I went through a training with them at least a decade or so ago, and they came and talked to a bunch of teachers.
You looking for something, bro?
You were training the students you have
we
today
close at 5.
for jobs and skills that we don't even know we're going to need just yet. So we're not teaching, like, we have to be very careful about putting people in a box and saying, okay, we want you to be a doctor. Like you hear some parents, my child's gonna be a doctor, my child's gonna be an NBA player, gonna be a footballist. You can't do that at this point.
You don't know what the world is gonna need.
We don't know what we need.
Yeah.
The skills you have today, this is how people and industries or companies who've been around for a long time all of a sudden just disappear because they become obsolete as things change and they weren't ready to change. For example, you can look at examples around Blockbuster. Blockbuster, what was the, there was a couple other ones, where Hollywood Video, right?
Netflix,
they had it
Netflix
down.
took them out.
Netflix, before Netflix, it was the
Streaming period took them out.
It was the Red Box.
Redbox first.
Redbox came, right? And they didn't see it coming quick enough to get in line with what was coming next. And they became obsolete and they went out of business, right?
The Blockbusters.
Yeah, right.
Blockbusters,
Those examples.
Redbox.
So I'm gonna say this: with time, everything is gonna change.
And it's changing rapidly,
Right,
even
it changed.
faster now.
Now it's definitely going fast.
Right.
Because you gotta remember, man. I remember crazy because we at that era. I know you gonna. I remember having a tape player with a lot of tapes.
I still have a tape player.
And then I swear, it's like I went to sleep one night and I woke up with a CD player and I got all these tapes I don't listen to. Right? That quick. It went that fast. Literally, you know what I mean? That's like here I am in like 1990. I got a cassette tape, and 91 I'm all CDs. Something like that, somewhere in there. I was 89 something. It just went to CDs, man. It was
The
all
CDs went to Blu-ray.
Right,
You're like,
it's
wait
just
a minute.
like,
Wait, we
man.
weren't even done with the CD player.
No, man, not at
My
all.
laptop
Well, then
don't
it went
even
to streaming
have-
on your iPod.
Yeah.
But with that,
That's
being
what took
said,
out all of the
With
CDs.
the velocity that things change, but there's some constants that don't change. Like, let's go back to some of the basics that you called out. An engineer, no matter what we're talking about, you're always going to need an engineer.
Always.
And it's always in demand. Like, you go look online right now, they can't fill the positions because people aren't going the distance to
That
become
part.
engineers.
Like,
Doctors.
so this school.
Doctors, same
Yeah.
thing.
Okay.
You go online, there's a shortage of doctors because people aren't going the
But what
distance.
kind of doctors even? Are they still practicing these old school ways, or are they thinking of it more broadly to have like naturopathic skills where they're not going to be looking at just the drugs or knives, right?
They're not thinking
We
about
gotta go
that.
beyond.
So check this
that's
out.
different.
Like I said, my kids are not far away from being in school, right? Like I said, I still got a little kid in school. What I've noticed, man, with schools is, watch this, man, we don't care about the ones that can't read no more. Or like when you get to high school and you find a certain amount of kids that ain't even it's this like don't keep a kid back thing. Like I get it, but I don't, because if they're far off, you know what I mean? It's like once they get to high school and they found out they far off, they just kick them to a charter school, right? They just kick them out. They just like it's like they say, hey, they basically gave up on you. So parents, I need y'all to watch this, because I watched this happen to so many, especially athletes, right? Because I know we're not supposed to be athletes, but we that's what we do. We run track. But when the kids, and your kid is not up to par in school, they have this alternative thing for you now, right? It's the craziest thing I ever see.
They've lowered the standards?
Right? And watch this. This is the craziest thing. Please, it's heavy in Arizona. If your kid is in regular high school and he does not meet the qualifications of testing, not in class, just in testing, right? They're going to bring you in, your parent and you, and they're going to sit you down and say, hey, there's no way we're going to be able to get him up to par to graduate. They basically gave up on your kid, right? We're going to send him to this other school, right? This is the part that killed me. If you know this 16-year-old can't read, right, and you send him to an alternative school, and the first thing they put him in is in front of a computer, he can't read. So how is he gonna pass or learn anything when he already couldn't read already, right? It makes no sense what I've been seeing with the way they're passing kids through, right? And then they don't tell you this, right? Because now, guess what they do? Now they take these schools that are these charter schools or whatever. I'm not dogging none of them out, but watch this. Some parents don't even know that if your kid graduates from this school, he can't even go to college, because the equivalent weight of your high school education ain't even a high school diploma. It's almost
You can't go to a university.
It's almost lower. Watch this. There's some junior
go to a-
colleges.
you can go to a
there's some
junior
junior
college.
colleges not even accepting some of these high school kids' certificate out of high
Because
school.
they're not prepared.
Right? You know what I mean? You need to read the criteria when your kid goes to these type of schools, right? And then watch this. This is what they do to you. They give them sports now, right? So you can say you're still playing, right? But you're going to school.
what is a
you
counselor
never learn
good
that.
for?
Right, I'm just telling you what they're doing to
They
the
don't
kids.
even have counselors.
No,
They don't have counselors in schools anymore?
Watch
They
this.
do, but not many.
Do you
Not
know?
like they should.
Do you know Baby Jason is the only kid in his, out of all his friends, that knew his counselor on a daily because I made sure of it. There's one counselor for almost every 100 kid or something like that. They don't even have a bunch of them no more. It's only like 2, Ave. So if your freshman class come in with 300 kids, that means they divided 2 counselors up for that section with 150 kids on this person, 150. That means you don't see your counselor at all.
It's only 180 days of school.
I'm just trying to tell you. You don't see your kid. Watch this. Your kid is basically man getting an email. That's it.
That they're not going to read.
That's it. That's what they get, right? If a parent ain't on it.
So what's the way?
Give me a second.
But I think though, you said if your parent isn't on it.
Right, because I'm not gonna lie. She just said it. It takes a village, right?
It's bigger than that.
It takes a village. Watch this. The crazy part about it is and you're gonna laugh when I say this, but I swear to God, I see it all the time because I coach football, right? I'm not gonna say I hate. I'm gonna say, man, I'll be so heartbroken when I see the one kid that has no support system really trying to be better, right? And I see this kid with tremendous support and he's trying to do absolutely nothing. It is crazy. I see it all the time, right? You got this kid and you sitting here like, man, I just want to buy this dude a sandwich. But then I got a kid and I'm sitting here like, cause the kid that want the sandwich, man, you watch him strive, right? But the kid that already got the car, the fresh shoes, he clean every day, right? It's like he already got everything. So he's not looking to do nothing, right? That's why you say some of these kids don't know what they're doing because some of them parents, hate to say it, it's like we give our kids too much, right? We didn't let them earn nothing. We had this conversation a long time ago as black people. We was talking about the little Chinese kid, right? You go to these Chinese businesses and the little kid is working the cash register. He 12.
And speak probably 2 or 3 languages.
Right? He 12. He working the cash register, right? But the little black kid, man, he over there chilling playing a video game while your mama doing all the ordering, right? They ain't asking him to do nothing. You know what I mean?
As we've heard many times, and it's important to say it now as well to remind us that the system is not broken. It's designed to do exactly what it's doing.
What it's doing.
So we have to be mindful of that first and foremost. I can definitely say that I can use both my hands and my toes and probably my locks to count the teachers I had who were amazing for me. I've been blessed with teachers, mentors, not just in the schools, but in the community who taught me a lot. Some people taught me things that I didn't want to do. They taught me how I don't want to be. They were the example of, don't be that person. But I'm learning constantly, and I can name people who I just put up on the Maxine O. Bush alumni page, which I run.
Okay.
We have alumni, so I'm a little sensitive about that.
Well, you need Abe need to get in there.
I need to be in there.
Abe need to be in there.
Join us. I just posted a photo, some photos, and some encouragement to the alumni to start pouring and showing love for our past teachers. Okay. Mr. Maurice Ragsdale was one of the teachers.
He got a key?
I'll wait.
All right. That was Pops, y'all. He forgot his key in the restaurant.
Oh, okay.
I mean, my bad. He forgot his phone in the restaurant. I don't know how he got all the way home. Now he back. All right.
Go get that man his phone.
That was your daddy?
No, that wasn't my daddy.
Oh, okay.
That's the OG, man. We call him Pops.
Okay,
he our Pops around here. He the OG. He the sous chef.
Okay.
Yeah, he come in and make sure that the kitchen run.
Okay, hey,
right.
Everybody has a role. I appreciate it.
So,
but for example, I was able to sit down with the person who was my 7th and 8th grade civics teacher, social studies teacher, and sit down with him and speak about his journey in education. He's recently retired from the Roosevelt District, and just really appreciating the wealth of wisdom that he shared with us, taught us back in the early 90s. Right, I graduated from Bush in '92, And I posted the pictures of it, and I asked the people on the page, hey, show some love. People started pouring in. They remember things he said, the little quotes. It was one of them was, life is just a bowl of cherries, right? Stuff like that. And so it wasn't just him, but other people. And I remember distinctly, you guys, one of the moments, Ron Anthony was my math teacher, and I teach math the way he taught me.
Mr. Anthony.
Mr. Anthony?
Yeah, Mr. Anthony.
It was cool, right?
Yeah.
Was Mr.
Bless
Jennifer
his
there
soul.
when you was there?
Who?
Mr. Jennifer?
No.
Okay.
But
He was a music teacher.
Okay. Mr. Guyona was my band teacher.
Okay.
Mr. Strader. But nevertheless, people poured out and remembered the things that he shared with us way back then. This is the early 90s, right? They're remembering this stuff verbatim, what he said and how it impacted them to this day. And so I have had a lot of great teachers. And then when I became a teacher, not shortly after that, I've been in education for over 30 years and I'm only 47. Right, and so when I think about the idea of when I got into teaching, I noticed you could expect about 10% of the students in any given classroom to be needing some extra special care, right? And they need more than what the curriculum, with your books, your materials, and everything allows. And you have to go above and beyond. They may need the extra tutoring or something. Now, you guys, I'll tell you, I left, and it was like coming back home to the Twilight Zone. Not only is Arizona the 48th state, it's 48th in the nation for like
Academics.
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 So here's the thing: when you look at the idea that not only our standards, our academic system is already on the bottom, and we got people struggling to meet that. That's scary.
As heck.
It has been a complete 180 where now you can expect 90% of the students to be not on point. Like in the earlier years, it's not that far because you know they haven't been in school that long. But by the time you get to junior high, we have schools where 8th graders are still reading at a 3rd grade level. Right? Like they're struggling with basic concepts. Basic. I've had 64-year-old students who I can tell you every single time, if there's anybody who ever struggles with math, I can give them, just have them write their phone number down and read it for its true value. I'm gonna throw a decimal in there somewhere. Read that number. They can't read past 1,000. Adults. Like literally give me the number. Don't tell me it's like 2.5. No, I need you to tell me that's 2 5/10. Understand what that means, right? So even just like some of the basics, so many schools are pushing teachers. And I've been reprimanded and pushed out of school districts here because I was too honest. I was asking too many questions. I was doing things in my classroom that was getting the results, but they didn't want the results. I was doing so good. Y'all, let me put it like this. I show up to a school, I ain't gonna name it, but it's here. I show up to a school and I notice that my 7th grade students don't understand place value. It's a 3rd grade concept, okay? I teach place value. I'm gonna meet you where you are. I'm gonna make sure you know how to read numbers, that you understand the decimal system. Because if you don't, it's like trying to write an essay, but you don't even know your ABCs yet, right? Right? Make it make sense.
Make it
so
make sense.
I teach them place value system. I make sure they understand the numbers, they understand the operations, they understand the functionality, the foundational skills. And within the first quarter of the school year, we met the annual goal. Now, mind you, it was only 60% passing rate, but we did that. I did that with my babies. In the first quarter, we met the annual goal. It was low, but still, that tells you, wait, we were at about 30 before that, and I doubled that in 1 quarter. Do you know when I shared that with the other people at the district meeting for math teachers? I was told, be quiet. When I told the other teachers and they went back to their schools and said, hey, Blache is over at such and such school and she did this and this and this and look at the results she got. Results. They were like, shh, you can't do that here. Because you got to follow the curriculum that we gave you because we paid millions of dollars for this. You got to do what the book says to do. No, the book is a tool. It's not your Bible. It doesn't dictate what lesson you teach. It's a tool for what you need to deliver. But people are using it as a Bible dang near. Like it's scripted. There are schools that will interview you and will tell you your interview is to read the script. Do not deviate. That was the interview. I was like, you lost me. I'm done. That's against my religion, okay? I'm a real teacher. I'm not going to read this to people. That doesn't account for the humanity of people. Doesn't account for what the child came in here with today, their emotions and all the other things. And you got a whole classroom full of different people with different experiences, different emotions. You got to be able to manage all of that in one room in one day, right? Minute to minute. And you got to be mindful of how you show up in that space as well. What are you dealing with? How are you processing what you have going on in your personal life? So when you show up ready to deliver. It's showtime when you get in that classroom. Let's go. And you got to meet those babies where they are and push them up. I was literally reprimanded. My principal came back in and said, Blashay, shh, you're doing too much. Be quiet. I cannot tell y'all, every school I've been in.
You know why?
Because I'm making a real change. Let me tell you this.
Making other teachers look less.
Oh, man. Every school, it doesn't matter. Charter, public, private, I've been to them all. And I am always told, Blashay, don't go over there rocking the boat. I'm that person who's going to raise my hand and ask the question everybody thinking about. I don't care. We're going to talk about it. If we don't talk about it, how are we going to solve it? Make it make sense, right?
It don't make sense.
So I've been reprimanded for doing what was right for my kids.
That ain't right.
I've been told, do what you do, but don't tell nobody else. I'm getting them results.
The principal?
The principal. And that's coming to him from the district. And the other principals, other schools. Oh, even this is it's triggering for me sometimes, and I get emotional about it because I remember being in 7th grade in Ron Anthony's math class, and I was that kid who spent my lunch periods, helping the teacher in the classroom, all that kind of stuff. People from the district office in Roosevelt, and I'm gonna call it out now, they came, this is back in the early 90s, y'all. They came in my classroom and told my teacher, Ron Anthony, that he was doing too much. The same thing that happened to me happened to him. And I'm as a teacher, years later, I'm experiencing this where I'm being told, you're getting too good of results. Some of the other schools are looking bad. But if you don't do as well, if you dumb it back down a little bit, keep it basic, then it won't cause an alarm for the other schools. They didn't ask him to go and train the other teachers. They didn't ask him to go share his secret sauce and what he's doing to make it work for us. We were learning algebra.
But what would that have triggered? What because you said this school year, it would trigger.
It was triggering awareness and eyes on who's not doing well, because somebody doing well. But if no one's doing well, you could just say, oh, okay, look at this incremental progress. Oh, they made 10% growth. Yay, yay. They're at 40% now. They were at 30. Let's celebrate that. We ain't nowhere
Somebody who's
near
outshining all of
60,
that,
70,
that's
80, 90. Right.
Sticks out.
And the goal is never 60. The goal should be 100 every time. How do you start the game knowing that it's like trying to play basketball and he got close to the hoop. Yay! The crowd goes crazy.
I'm gonna tell you something, man. I'm gonna tell you something recently that happened to one of my kids, man. I mean, I ain't gonna say recently, with school time. They don't teach Black history in school no more, right? Okay, watch this. This is the part that killed me the most.
They don't teach history.
You don't teach Black history no more. Whatever, that's fine. Whatever. But the part that kills me with schools, I got two things, right? My son was failing English, failing, but he got an A in Spanish, and we don't talk Spanish in my house. So I'm trying to figure out, this kid ain't never came home and spoke one word of Spanish. How does he have an A in Spanish, right, and a D in English, right?
What's the assessment?
Watch this. The part that killed me the most is my son thought a D was passing. Because this is what the schools are telling you, right? They say a D is these high school
The goal
kids.
was a D. The goal was 60.
These you can graduate with all D's. My grandma used to tell us that a D was you was just dumb enough not to get an F. Right? That's all a D meant. You was just dumb enough not to get an F.
You couldn't play sports with a 1.0 average.
These kids can play football, basketball with a D in every class. It's okay. It's
That's
passing.
not okay. It's not okay.
It's passing now.
It's not.
And every kid believes it. I've heard it.
And that was over a decade
Jason
ago.
told me that one day, and I went so ham on my son. I said, "Who told you?" I felt like coming to America. Who told you that? Like, there's no way that that's passing. If you think the D is passing, you need to go live with your mom. Cause I know she gonna beat it out you. But I'll hit you in your jaw. Cause there's no
So
way.
how do you expect people to rise up if you lower the expectation on a lower level of standards in a 48th state ranking?
Okay.
No, the goal is still like I've developed my own curriculum, and the standards that I set for myself are a combination and meet, and I would say exceed the standards of your international baccalaureate, your advanced placement from the College Board, your national standards, beyond Common Core, but what each national math organization, the national English organization, I look to those standards to see what should this child walk away with? What skill set do they need to have? What are the industries that are out there? And again, not just tailoring it to any particular industry right now because things are changing so fast. What is relevant today might be obsolete in a year or two, right? You drop your car off the lot and it's already depreciating. That kind of thing. That's what we're looking at with the industries these days. So we got to be mindful that we need to teach our kids, teach our children, teach people to think critically. Can you solve a problem? Engineering, it's all problem solving. Figure out a problem, figure out a solution, and have the skill sets to know the ins and outs of it to make something work, to move it forward. So what I want to talk about today was cultural sanctuaries. And all of this, we're worried about what the districts are doing, what public, private, charter, all these schools, right, that are designated as learning spaces. But we got to remember that everything around a child, everything you see, touch, taste, feel, energy, everything around you is something to learn from.
Right.
So how do we cultivate, curate, create, maintain, sustain, hold in high regard our cultural sanctuaries? And I wanted this today because I wanted to first thank you and give you guys your flowers for what you're doing. This podcast right now is a form of a cultural sanctuary. Your barbershop, your restaurant, any barbecues y'all do, any events you do, shouting out to the people, these are all our cultural sanctuaries. And sanctuary, you said the first word that came to your mind when I said it earlier was what?
It was protecting.
Protection, protector. What else comes to mind when you hear the word sanctuary?
An area set aside for something to happen.
Okay. A space. A sanctuary is a space that can be protection.
Yeah.
That can be
I
protection.
hear sanctuary, I think it's something like, going to pray at the church or something, you know what I mean? That's my
church. Yeah, sacred.
Right? That's my
Sacred,
thing right here.
spiritual.
Everybody's sanctuary is different.
Safe.
I want to say this too before you go. Me and Ave, I don't know how he feel, but I know what we do for the South Side. You know what I mean, and we always try to give back. That's something that me and him see eye to eye on. Right? We see eye to eye on giving back because we know what it took for us to even get what we got.
Come on.
And the stuff that me and Ave have ain't just on us; it's on our customers. Right? We got customers, man, that has walked in the barbershop and said, "Hey, I can do that." Right? And they do it. Right? That's where me and Ave get a blessing at. So when we try to throw out blessings, like when we gave the backpack to the lady, like we try to throw out blessings so we can get our blessings back. So we don't do what we do because we do what we do because we love it.
Yes.
Right? We love having a business. We love being a part of the community. We love the part where you can come in the barbershop and just give us your bad days, and we hopefully put a smile on you when you walk out the door.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So to me, that's our sanctuary. Right? That's our sanctuary, right?
Your sanctuary.
Right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's how I feel. So I just
love
wanted
that.
to iterate that to you because I always love to give flowers, but I tell people all the time, man, like to me and Ava, we almost like manure. You know what I mean? The stink we want to leave on you, man.
Wait a minute.
Right? I'm just being honest.
You said we're like manure?
The stink, yeah, we like manure. I'm gonna tell you why.
Stink on you?
Because we gonna once we water you down with this stink we put on you, you gonna grow.
You're going to grow after that, huh?
You're gonna grow. Okay.
You gonna grow after that,
My daddy called it country fresh.
man. Hey,
My nephew says we were driving down somewhere and we got farms right here. He was like, Auntie, it smell like Booty in the Sky. I was like, yeah, do something like Booty in
Yeah,
the Sky.
I'm gonna definitely
You put
call
the
it that
sting
next
on
time.
it.
Yeah, you
Booty
put a
in the
sting on.
sky.
Because I just, I feel like me and Abe, man, we try to fertilize people as much as we can.
Hey,
You know what I mean?
sow the
Because them
seeds.
is our
Everybody got
blessings.
to do their part.
Yeah.
Yeah, these are them
Everybody
our
gotta do their
blessings, man.
part.
And
You know
that's
what I mean?
I wanted to really emphasize. I mean, we could talk about the school districts, the system, all day long. We know from the jump, as we said to start the conversation, is that they're designed to do what they're doing. They're designed to create workers, not people who actually think for themselves and be critical thinking entrepreneurs. They're designed just to create the workforce who will be obedient to when the bell rings or get in line, jump in line, sit down, don't move till I tell you to, all of that. Those kind of environments, thank you, they look alike. We talk about all the time how today's schools look the same as they did 100 years ago. Why? And they match in line with the prison system. They're designed the same way for a reason, right? So when we want to really teach, instead of us focusing on the things that we don't necessarily have full control over, what do we have control over? We have control over our own businesses, our own community, the things that we create. This podcast, you can have conversations that you want to
Only
educate
what we
people.
touch is the only thing we have control over.
Right. So
So I
sanctuary.
say we got to do our own part.
Yes.
That's all we can do.
Come
Just
on.
do what we got to do.
So-
we can't do everything.
So
Go ahead.
I want to iterate on this. So earlier, how old is the kid you said he don't want to do nothing?
Yeah.
Harry's like, he's 18.
So watch this. He 18. So she high school. We just gonna bring up high school. We're not even gonna bring up elementary, right? Every high school, watch this, is designed to a kid can walk out and have a craft in something. Every high school has one, right?
A magnet.
Watch this. The part that killed me the most, craziest thing ever, man. You might not even pay this no attention. I want to say at least 67 or 70% of the kids that are taking these classes in high school don't even live in that high school's district. They're busing them in, right? And your kid that goes to this school, I don't even know if they tell them they even have most of this stuff, right? Because they're busing the kids from somewhere else in, right? So these kids that they busing in is getting your neighborhood's firemen or your neighborhood musician
Tell me
and all
that
that
they're being taught
because
different at the house.
they ain't teach, right? But this is at your high school. Every parent, when they walk up to you, when you go sign your kid up for high school, ask what they specialize in. Our kids are going to these high schools, but South has all of this stuff, and half of these kids ain't getting none of it, right? Half of them. Now, now don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. There's a few, right? Because they got a pilot like South got almost 8-9 magnets, right?
They got
Yeah, South got some
Right.
great
academies
magnets.
now.
Right,
Yeah.
you can go be a sniper. They don't even know you can be a sniper at South. They got
Really?
yeah. We got the ROTC,
ROTC, yeah.
right?
Wow.
And South Mount High School has a gun range. People didn't even know that, right? Sit right next to the new gym, right? Been there this whole time. It was there when I
What's
was
the
there.
program that you went in? You was in the program at South, right?
I created a program myself. It was so easy. Like, I literally walked to my mom was like, we should go up to South and see what they got going on. I was in between jobs. So I went up to was like, hey, I graduated from here. Went to the Conservatory for Recording Arts. And Miss Brown at the front desk, she was like, oh, perfect, I'm so glad you came. Like, she was expecting that. I introduced you to Marcus. I
Come on.
didn't even know it's like, except for that moment. I just walked in there. My mom called pulling the door, just walk in. So she introduced me to Marcus Carter, the twins who were coaching at the time. And they had a recording program. And he was like, yeah, I got this program, I need help writing the curriculum. So I knew how to write the curriculum, wrote the curriculum, became a vendor with the school district. I got paid to write the curriculum, I got paid to teach the class. But and there was a recording studio there, and there was no program for it. And
what it looked like.
it's like a multi-million-dollar recording studio. I got hated on though, because I got in there, and one of the other teachers, he saw that I was making some moves.
They already have it.
Yeah. He said that I was trying to record an album in there. And because I was trying to record an album, which I wasn't, because I was trying to record an album in there, it undercuts the local recording studios, which, okay, like there's no other recording studio that even competes with that studio, you know what I mean?
But you started your own program at South.
That's out, yeah.
Come on, that's beautiful.
Man, come on.
I just looked it up, you know, and it was, at the time, I did it under the umbrella, it was Michelle Obama had a program, I forget the name of the program, but the purpose of it was to prepare kids who don't want to necessarily go to college to walk away with skills.
Right.
Yeah. So I was able to like craft. I had to craft my curriculum to fit into that. You know what
Okay.
I mean? So it was recording arts and sciences, or it was actually music production.
Right.
So I had to relate it to film, and I had to relate it to industries that were established to show how kids could learn this and then go into these other industries.
That's
But
beautiful.
But it takes, I mean, like, I would highly recommend if anybody has a skill or anything like going to the school, like, at least at that moment, I think it's waiting for somebody to walk in. You know what I mean? To like help us out here, because otherwise it's just completely on the teachers.
That takes it back
See?
to what you said, the lady who's using Maxino Bush space
Right.
to start a skills trade school.
Right.
That is so important. I'm excited. I'm excited to learn more about that myself. I
Right.
need her number. I need to go figure out what's going on.
I'm gonna go find it for you. But I
Yes.
know if you call relevant school district and ask them who's running that program, they should tell you.
Okay.
They should tell you, right?
Good.
You know what I
good.
mean? But look, so I'm gonna say this, man, like real spit, because they used to have all of that at South when I was there. People used to be in there all the time. I'm gonna tell you what's crazy. You're not even paying
South Phoenix Youth
So
Center had all that.
South Mount High School also has the production when filming, right? Watch
Yeah.
this. Do you know who's been the kids that are coming out of that class now? The Hispanics. And guess who's giving them jobs? The little Mexican station. Telemundo. Telemundo are pulling kids out of there, out of South.
As they should be.
Right? Because their kids are using that to get there. You feel me? Like, but we're not even using that no more. I don't think I've seen a black kid in that class in the last, I don't know, since yeah.
I know people our age who were part of those programs, and now they're still using those skills today to run their own businesses.
Every high school has at least one or two programs that they specialize in. And the kids that go to the school might not even have heard of it. But you getting kids bust in just to go to that program.
Yes. I was bused to go to North
See?
for the IB program. Actually, I just found out from my junior high teacher from Bush that the year that I left Bush and went to North, Bush provided the most students ever from one school. Like that's still a record to this day. No school has ever had, I think it was 3 of us. Don't sound like a lot of people, but that was the most any school has ever sent to that school for that program. And that was back in the 90s. International Baccalaureate.
What is that?
IB, or International Baccalaureate, is an international curriculum that is taught all over the world. Like those standards are, wherever you go in the world, it's consistent. And so we learned literally about like, the standards are higher. So like we had a 5.0 possible GPA. You're required to take 4 years of language arts. Of a foreign language. You have 4 years of everything. 4 years of science, 4 years of math, 4 years of everything. And we had also a course called Theory of Knowledge, which is like a philosophical class to make you really, really think about the depths of why you know what you know and how do you know it, right? All of that. I was intrigued because I want to know, right? I'm that person wanting to know all the little things behind it, like why do you know what you know? And so that program is literally around the world. So anybody who walks out of an IB program, you literally could take that certificate or IB diploma. I got college credit from that. So the same as your AP courses and all that, it's international. We learned about Stalin, Mussolini, and Hitler and how they were the whole ways that they came up to power. Like we learned about patterns. Like nothing is happening right now politically. It's shocking to me. I can almost dictate or like predict what's going to happen next. This is all patterns. It's patterns, and we were learning that back in the 90s. Right? So like the way that I think about stuff and the way that I process information goes back to a program like that forces you to. You have to think at a deeper level. So that to me shouldn't be a specialized program. That should be the standard. Right? Like lay that foundation early. And many of us who were at the school where I could name all of my junior high teachers were amazing. And we came out of there ready to go. Like even the ones who didn't go to North, wherever school they went to, they thrived. Most of the people I graduated with from undergrad, from junior high, we're all doing fairly well. Like, I don't know anybody who's not doing well, unless they were really into like, something detrimental and ended up in prison or something or no longer living. We're all doing very well. And so that, if we could just do what we did then, at least, right? But we're supposed to be getting better, not worse. And it's gotten worse.
Yeah, and I feel bad for these kids, man. These kids is getting cheated, man. These kids getting cheated, man. I'm just be honest with you. They getting cheated, bro. They get cheated by the system, and then they getting cheated by the teachers, man.
But like you said, if we know that the system is set up to do what it's doing, then it's like there's a lot of things that are set up to be one thing, and as humans, we use it for something else.
Right.
You know what I mean?
There's a word for that now. It's called fugitive pedagogy. Dr. Jarvis Givens, he's at Harvard now, I believe. He gave language to what we've been doing. The stuff that my teachers were doing, like Mr. Anthony was teaching us regardless of what the district said. Even when he was like, I'm gonna keep doing what I do, right? These babies gonna get what they need. We're gonna teach, period. I'm not gonna dumb it down. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. I'm not gonna prevent them from reaching their highest potential because somebody else is not doing what they gotta do.
He cared about his job.
He cared about
man.
us. This is beyond, it's not a paycheck. And the paycheck is not even enough to sustain. I'm sorry, we can't even say it's a paycheck anymore because it's not. It's not enough money. People who are there really trying, but sometimes their hands are tied because you're told you have to teach the book the way the book is given to you. You have to do it this way. You can't deviate. You gotta stick to it. You gotta do it this fast. And even though the kids aren't getting it, move on. Oh well.
Hey,
Make sure you covered it.
I've seen
Not taught it,
teachers,
covered
right?
it.
I've seen kids be out of
Yeah.
school, right? An extra day out of the week because the teachers have a workshop, right? Right? You had this workshop. I don't know what they doing. You know what I mean? But my thing is, if you had a whole workshop, man, and you come back and your kids still failing, you know
How
what I mean?
effective was the workshop?
Like, it makes no sense. They just missed a whole day for you to come back and teach them absolutely nothing.
And that's actually what I do. I am a consultant. I have my own company now. It's called Blache Education. Blache is my last name,
Okay.
B-L-A-C-H-E, but I also use it as an acronym.
Okay.
B is B-L-A-C-H-E, Building a Legacy of Africana-Inspired, Critically Conscious, Healing-Centered Education. Empowerment education.
Okay.
And I got probably 20 iterations of it, but that's the one I stick with the most because I really am trying to build a legacy of the things. So I have books on my shelf that are from the 1940s that were Black history books that were being used around the world. And the Chicago public school system had a Black history curriculum that was developed by a Black woman, Marilyn Stratton, and Marion Stratton. Oh, I forget. Nevertheless, that was a Black history book, and people were teaching it all over the country. White teachers were teaching it to white students, and they were happy, they were successful, they had pen pals, it was thriving. We had a lot better system of teaching because we were doing what we wanted to do, doing what we needed to do for our babies before Brown versus Board, right? After that ruling, we ended up integrating, and as Dr. Sonia Douglas writes about, we were integrated in learning in a burning house. MLK said it in one of his final speeches, one of his last interviews, he was talking about, I fear that I have led my people into a burning house. We're not trying to assimilate into the chaos. We just wanted equity, right? We didn't want equality to be the same as y'all. We wanted equity for opportunities to really move forward in ways that are good for us. And so what we have to do is be mindful of creating our own systems, creating our own cultural safe spaces where our culture can be taught, it can be passed on, it can be cultivated, built on, and used for self-empowerment, for a sense of strong identity, that we're not second guessing ourselves based upon what society tells us who we should or shouldn't be, who we can or can't be. And the fact that they see us as a threat, that over 300,000 Black women were let go. I was one of them in 2025. I already had my business, thank God, because I was able to pick up where I left off, but we're like, you know what? Forget trying to assimilate back into a system that never wanted us in the first place. Do your own thing. On our worst day, tired, sick, we still gonna outshine. Because when your standard is mediocrity and it's this meritocracy, your merit ain't, watch my language, Lord. The merit, if we're really going on merit, we already there. We've been there, done that. On our worst day, we still gonna shine, right? So if we're coming at it full force, you guys are building your own businesses. The more we do our own thing around here and take back over South Phoenix and really thrive, we gotta keep pushing. We gotta keep pushing. So cultural sanctuaries, the barbershop. In Canada, I was out there, there's a gentleman in Canada, who does what he calls barbershop talks. Right? You guys know, you be in the barbershop, or ladies, we're in the salon and everything, we get our hair done. That's not just the time to go sit down and get your hair done. You're talking about all the things, about your personal life, as a barber, as a cook, or a chef. You're talking to the people. When they're there to eat, the food brings them in, but then there's conversations happening. Right? The things you choose to put on your wall. I walked in, the first thing I read was, I inspire to inspire. Like, my superpower is empowering other people. Like, if that's something I say, that should be on a t-shirt. Just seeing those words, seeing the things that are in here, the style, the culture, the red, black, and green flag, you guys showing up in your authentic energy, we feeling good, we vibing. All of that is cultural sanctuary. These are our safe spaces. So if the school isn't doing it, and we can't trust them to really deliver like they're supposed to give us what we really need to thrive and survive and move forward, then we got to create it for ourselves. And you guys are already doing that. So as we said, it's important to give language to the things that we do and have, so that we can make sure that we are being intentional and not haphazardly going about it. Like I said, we do it anyway. But when we're intentional about it, it gets deeper and it becomes systematic, and it gets stronger and more overpowering, and it overpowers the chaos and the undermining of our educational systems. Right? We create it for ourselves.
Yeah. So, are you suggesting, when it comes to education, to create another system?
Yes.
And what does that look like?
It looks like what you're doing now. It looks like having this podcast and bringing somebody like me on, who grew up here, who is an expert educator, a master teacher, to come and have conversations about the things that, to honor what we're already doing, to make us conscious of the fact that that's not just a business, that's sanctuary space right there. Like Cuddy's Barbershop, like when you posted the fire, it was like early in the morning. I was watching, like, dude, I'm praying already to save, to protect our spaces. That barbershop, and I do look forward to having a barbershop talk with y'all, or a soulful, I call it my soulful sanctuary event there, so that we can use that space to have the hard conversations like we're having right now about what are we doing for our mental health? What does that really mean? How do we support one another as men and women to make sure that, what we need to do to achieve good mental health, strong, solid mental health, and how that's connected to our physical health. Have conversations in what that looks like for a man, what it looks like for a woman, what it looks like for anybody, and how we support each other in that. How do we show up for each other in community? How do we make sure that the next generation never forgets what Okemah really means?
Man.
I'm just now learning more about Okemah in my 40s. I heard it growing up, but it wasn't until I hit my 40s that my mama really started telling me more about it. I didn't even know we had an Okemah Foundation that's doing the work of trying to preserve that memory. And
yes,
I
we
learned
do.
more today.
Yes, we do.
And we're doing it. Like our grandparents. Like, go ahead, you shared some.
Hey, my grandma was a part of Okemah being
on.
built. Man, they came to my grandma funeral, man, and they had a whole thing, man. My grandma was like one of the people that first opened up like a daycare or something. Like, she got funded by the government and all that. Yeah, just so Okemah can have, daycare and preschool, stuff like that.
Yeah, Okemah was one of Arizona's Black Wall Street, if you will, right? And we think about Black Wall Street, we think Tulsa. Tulsa was one of many. And wherever we went, we thrived. As long as they left us alone, we were thriving, right? They always come.
They were never gonna leave us alone. So watch this. I bet I got a fact for you didn't know.
Come on.
I was the last preschool to ever graduate from Okemah Elementary.
That was Okemah Elementary? See, teach me, please.
Come on.
Like I said, I love learning more than teaching.
Ended in like 84, 85. I was the last graduating preschool.
Where was this at?
From right behind, so you know where they got the, you go over 40th Street, when you go over the freeway, and you're going over 40th Street going towards University, right? If you turn, you'll see a turn before you get to the store. Right, it used to have to turn and go down this way and then go that way. The school used to sit.
That was the 40th Street School.
Right, the school. Right, it was Okemah when I was going there.
I didn't know they kept it going. My mother, according to my mother, who's in her mid-70s, she said that she was the last generation to go to 40th Street School. So I guess they changed the name and kept it open.
Right. I was the last. I was the last. So they when they deemed Okemah a business park,
Industrial space.
They made, that's when they started making all the people that had been living there forever. That's when they started buying a property from them. Right, so my grandmother ended
on the dollar. They didn't
my
give them what they
grandmother ended
deserved.
up with some money, and she got another house out the deal.
Okay.
Right, so we still was on 40th Street. We was just on Baseline.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
And we ended up in the little trailer parks on Baseline.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
But watch this. My grandmother's house still stands. It's a business. It still stands. You know what I mean? I remember when you can go down.
Come on.
You can go down University. And there was like, because you got to remember, University also had their own junkyards, stuff like
Still
that.
do.
So you can, it was like one lane this way, one lane that way. So you used to go off to the side of the dirt. Like you used to pull up in the dirt to get to my grandma's house. You know what I mean?
Come on.
Everything I love, man. My grandmother's house still stands. I drive by it every time I go. I know exactly what it is as soon as I see it. It's just a business now.
And it was called Okemah School?
It was Okemah Elementary when I was.
Okemah Elementary.
And like I want to say it closed in like 84, 85 something. Because I ended up going to Nevitt. Once we moved away from there, I went to kindergarten at Nevitt.
Wow, even when you were living on 19?
So because you know, as I had to, thank God I had two parents, but my dad's mom, you know, when my dad went to work, my mom, they went to work early. Okay. So I would either stay with my grandma or I would get dropped off super early over there.
Okay.
Right? Okay. So I went to Tempe schools until, you know, my mama was like, well, you know what? You know, your grandma been watching everybody's kids forever. Right? So you old enough to have your own key. So I went to Nevitt, I went to Frank, you know what I mean? Right? So I want to say about 6th grade or so, I ended up at John R. Davis.
Okay.
Right?
You
never
went to Jurgensen then?
I never went to Jurgensen.
Okay.
Watch this. I lived by Jurgensen.
Right.
But I always went to Tempe schools.
It was a straight shot for you too.
So when I moved away from you, what did I do? I think I moved away from y'all at 87. It's like 86, 87. So I lived on the, you know, the other side of 19th Avenue where behind the Walgreens were now. That's where we live.
Yeah.
Right? Then I moved to the other side where Circle K is.
Northeast corner.
Right? Then I moved to the other side by Lindo Park.
Okay,
right? But we used to live by Jurgensen.
Yeah.
So I've lived on both. A funny story. So before we go, I remember as a kid, you know, I'm like, oh man, I went all the way and knocked on everybody's door, told them we was moving. All right, hey man, all right, y'all, man, I don't know where you moving to. I ain't never even been there, right? I just know we got this big old U-Haul and we loaded up, right? I knocked on everybody. I went up and down the street, knocked on everybody's door and told them bye, I'm getting hugs, all that, right? Just to literally go down the street, across 19th Avenue, went right and then take a right and then made a left on Wayland. And my dad said, we here. I said, where? Right? I'm a kid, right? He like, here, we at the new house. I said, we didn't go nowhere. We are literally across the street, right?
That's cool.
I rode my bike back across the next day and told everybody, man, we didn't move nowhere.
You did move somewhere. You just,
Man,
you know.
I just live around the corner now. You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy, man. I tell my mama that all the time. I said, Mama, we just moved around the corner, right? It's crazy, man. Crazy. But that's how, so I lived on both sides of 19th Avenue. I just went to Tempe schools. So, watch this. Crazy part about it is, because, you know, I feel like I'm definitely a part of the last generation of, like, when racism, you saw it every day. It just says, I had a dad that made sure we saw it. You know what I mean? So I literally, me and some of my cousins got pegged. So we couldn't go to Tempe schools because we at our grandma's house. They pegged us out. That's how I ended up at Davis on the Slick.
Wow.
They started watching us go my grandma's house.
You said something about Tempe that just struck me earlier. You said Tempe is the only city. I'm saying this because as far as cultural sanctuaries are concerned, we need to use these spaces and these opportunities to have these conversations to understand our history, our culture, our background, so we know where we're going. We know if there's an issue somewhere, how do we move past that? How do we create spaces where It doesn't matter what's going on in the schools. We have in school every day. We're having
Right.
educational spaces every day, right? So you mentioned something about, like, we're talking about Okemah. People don't really know about
So
it.
Tempe, the city
Yes, come on.
of Tempe, why? Man, look here. I shouldn't even know this kind of stuff, man, because
Yes, you should.
I wasn't the smartest in school.
Stop it.
But I'm a cold listener, man. And when I started going to those land markings
Mm-hmm.
and stuff like that, when I was trying to figure out stuff, because you know they have this stuff domains,
Mm-hmm.
right? This is why they can move. They can move a whole neighborhood
Yeah.
off a domain.
Eminent
right?
domain.
Eminent domain. Like you can, you would have to sell your house. So if it makes up enough for, let's just say 200,000 people can benefit off of it, that means they can take your land.
The government will take it.
You either gonna sell it or they gonna take it. It's either one or two,
Yeah.
right? So because it helps out so many million people in our economy, you know what I mean? So people don't know this, right? But I was doing some research about projects in Arizona, right? So most of black people, they come from projects, stuff like that, right? So you got to remember, you had a Phoenix project, you had a Chandler project, even the city of Scottsdale had a project. Mostly their people live there, you know what I mean? But you had a Glendale, Peoria had a project, right? Watch this. Tempe is the only city in Arizona that didn't host a project. Watch this though, but they did. Watch this. This how cold
Wait.
Tempe is. They did, right? You're gonna laugh. They called it Guadalupe.
It's still there. They don't consider it Tempe. They don't call it.
They don't. They don't call it.
They don't call it Tempe.
But guess what though?
They call it Guadalupe.
They call it Guadalupe, right?
Yeah.
But that was the projects. Tempe disowned it because they didn't own it.
They didn't want to have the history.
Watch
Oh,
this.
wow.
People don't know this, but the city of Guadalupe had their own Judge Street and all
Yeah,
that stuff
they do.
because there was somebody that owned it. He wouldn't sell.
Good for him.
He wouldn't sell. So they literally, it's crazy because guess what Guadalupe is? It's Tempe, right? Because everything around it is what? Tempe.
Tempe.
Right? And when they write down their address, guess what it says? Guadalupe in what?
Wait, they have to write Guadalupe in Tempe? Really?
Ain't that what it is?
I've never lived.
Do y'all realize that Ahwatukee was Tempe? I don't even know where Ahwatukee came from.
It was, but yeah.
It's Tempe. You know what I mean?
I mean, we have Towson, we have Avondale, and all that other stuff, but technically.
Guadalupe hosted a project, right? Because Tempe, they just basically disowned them because they wouldn't sell the land.
Affordable housing, in
Right.
other words.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So it was private property in Tempe?
Yeah.
It would sell?
Guadalupe, it's still there.
So instead of so then they incorporated with the county to become their own jurisdiction?
Watch this.
They
Watch this. Guadalupe is its own city in Tempe, right? Tempe polices it though.
Well, you can do a contract though. Like a city.
I'm just saying though,
Outsource.
right?
Okay.
But this
Okay.
is you're disowning a piece of the city, but you're still willing to police it.
Because what it sounds like to me
Yeah,
is
but that's just
they
like
have-
I'm just
Phoenix
telling you.
police in Levine.
Right? I'm just telling you. But
It's not-
Levine was Phoenix, right? They just deemed Levine not to. Hey, I tell
Levine
people this.
been Levine a
I tell
long
people
time
this.
ago.
What? No, it wasn't.
No,
Hey,
it's technically still Phoenix.
right?
I mean,
It is
South
Phoenix, right? It was
still
South Phoenix, right? Check this out. I swear to God.
Levine is Levine now.
I'm not taking nothing from the man that Levine. I went to high school with some of his grandkids, man. I swear to God, I wouldn't have knew they was rich. They didn't even act like it. They were the nicest people you want to meet.
They wasn't rich yet.
Yes, they was. yes, they was. Right?
Yeah, they
Yes,
just got
was.
rich.
You couldn't have had told me that these people was rich. They were the nicest people I ever met. Right? They in school, man. They drive a white Ford. Right, dude. When my man got his first car, he was in a white Ford, man. He was driving a pickup truck. Right?
See, there's being rich and there's acting rich.
Man, I'm
Yeah.
just being
Most
honest.
of the wealthy
totally
people,
different.
you would never know.
You would
They walk
never
around
know,
very, very
right?
modest.
I didn't know. We didn't
Yeah.
know his grandpa owned all that land. You know what I mean? That's like the Orange Grove guy, right? When I was a kid, my grandmother used to sell jams on Old Southern, right? True story. We used to have a flea market on Old Southern. Old Southern used to, you know how you turn when you're going towards 32nd? You make that turn? Well, there used to be a part you can turn left, and that's Old Southern. On the weekends, people sell all the stuff like their eggs and their
farmer's
green.
market.
It was a farmer's market, right? My grandmother used to sell jams. I remember as a kid seeing all of those people all the time, every weekend. We had a sign that said apricot jam, stuff like that, you know, strawberry, because that's what my grandma made preserves, right?
Nice.
There used to be a guy that used to come up to my grandmother all the time, and one day I saw him on a commercial. Now, I've been knowing this dude maybe 4 years at a time, because we go every Sunday and Saturday to sell these jams with my grandma. And I say, Granny, I say, is that the dude we see on Sundays that wear the overalls? And he was Eddie Basher.
Oh,
And he talked to my grandma every Saturday and every Sunday.
there's so much for us
Right?
to learn.
And I didn't even know who the heck I was talking to. But this is the guy that owns Bashers,
Okay.
right? Eddie Basher, watch this, owned a lot of property on Rozier.
We got Basher High School. We got, yeah.
He owned a lot of real estate on Riggs Road. But he owned some property here on the south side. Man, like, I used to see him all the time. The Orange Grove man, see him all the time, man. The Orange Grove man owned a lot of this stuff. Over there where the Raven is now, that was all Orange Groves.
I missed the Greenfield.
See, the Greenfield, watch this. Guess who owned that?
Who?
Eddie Basher.
Nuh-uh. Wait,
Them was his people.
Wait, time out.
Them was his people.
Time out.
The same family.
The family with the one house, I mean, it's all taken up now, where on 16th Street, on the southeast corner of 16th Street in Rozier,
Those were his family
that was
members.
the green patch. We used to go get our greens over there.
Eddie Basher, kin of them.
Eddie Basher owned that too?
Come on, man. Eddie Basher, that same family.
Wow. They gave it up.
Same family.
They sold it. Are they still own it?
No, they don't own it, but I'm
Because I know
just
there's
saying.
a whole bunch of houses on the top
Right,
of it
yeah,
now.
they don't own it
Okay.
now, but
Wow.
I'm just at that moment of time, yeah, his family owned the green patch. Come on, man. Eddie Basher.
This is what I'm trying to like just emphasize in this conversation tonight is the importance of us having these kind of conversations. Thank you for having this podcast. This is a cultural sanctuary, if you will, right? This is an opportunity for us to share and learn together as a community without it having to be written down. But we can also take these information, transcribe it, and put it in our own books. Put them in a way that can be delivered to children. It could be at a 5th grade level, at a 3rd grade level of reading. You know, you get deeper and put pictures in it and stuff. Make our own curriculum, right? And like just begin to share it and have it on a regular basis. So when you go get your hair cut, you know, the kids come in there, they're learning from everything. They're learning from the artwork on the wall, conversations that are being had. They can read a book. These conversations, put them in a book and let the kids read it. We ain't got to worry about what they're not doing in school.
Have you guys ever been to the Arizona room down at Burton Bar Library?
That's sacred space. There's Black history books in there.
Is
but
that right?
Check this out. This is what irritates me. This is another reason we have to have our own cultural sanctuaries, because the books that are in the Arizona room should be in every library in Arizona. You have to book an appointment to get up in there. You only get an hour. And you don't have to book an appointment anymore? You used to. You used to have to book an appointment. You used to have to. You can't check any of the books out, right? But Black history books, Arizona's Black history books are in there. Why are there not copies of it in every single library that you can check out? They should be in abundance. But it's like this, you know, it's in one book, in one place, in one part of the entire state. Make it make sense. Matter of fact, I ended up meeting a guy whose uncle created or wrote his own Black history book about Arizona. What's his name? Last name is Harris. I can find it for you. Last name is Harris.
Well, look, I'm going to say
Okay.
this. Look, you know, because I know we've been on a long time. And
I don't even know what time
I
it
done had a
is.
great day today, but I'm going to
Yeah.
say this, though.
Time.
I want
it's almost 8 o'clock.
I want you to come back.
Okay, sure.
And the reason I want you to come back is we were unprepared today, and you gave us a lot of energy. You know what I mean? But I literally want to go do some research of my own, because you gave me a lot of pinpoints today, and I want to come back to this maybe in about a month or so.
Okay.
All right, so we can finish being in depth, right? Because you even got B on some stuff that B got me thinking too. So
And vice versa.
right? So I want to erase because I know some things I might not know everything on, but I do have a concept of it because I listen to the elders.
Yes,
I listen
that's
to the
important.
elders, right?
Our elders are cultural sanctuaries themselves. They're walking encyclopedias of
Right.
information.
I listen to the elders. So
By the way, quick shout out to Blackwards to the Future. We're a group of people. A project started, Shamari Jackson and several other people, and it's right now in connection and partnership with Arizona State University's Black Archives. And we're getting together, and our whole goal is to document our Black history.
okay, that's what's up.
Interviews have been done already. We need to do more. But this is a real project in order for us to document our Arizona's Black history. And this should be a project going on everywhere we go.
Right.
And I'm also have my own program. I'm putting out youth historians where youth actually learn about history. They learn the skills of being a historian.
All right.
And where the heck is that book? Okay, next time I'll
right,
make
next
sure
time,
I
yeah,
bring
we
that
got you.
information.
All right.
The Black History book about Arizona that was written by Mr. Harris. I'm trying to remember his first name, but there are books out there about our history here.
All right, so look, hey, thanks everybody for
Yeah,
tuning
we
in,
appreciate
man.
you coming through today,
Man,
giving
she
us
got
that
me
good
gassed up
knowledge
Thank
today,
you.
right?
I am honored. Thank
Hey.
you for the opportunity to.
Hey, we
be in
always got to
community.
keep it thanks to B-Man, man. B-Man always makes everything important around here. So I always want to show him super love. And we got him a soft seat today. Right? He got a soft seat today. He ain't sitting on a hard back no more. Now he's sitting on a soft back.
I wore this shirt for a reason, y'all.
Okay, go
and
on,
I
tell us.
asked Abe to try to read it. It's written in Gullah.
Ain't got okay.
Quick story, and I know we gotta go. My grandmother spoke Gullah. She was born in Mississippi, came out here to Arizona, but people think that the Gullah Geechee corridor that runs from North Carolina down through Florida is the only places where the Gullah people, the culture is. No, it's all over. There's a whole town in Texas that speaks Gullah Geechee, right? My grandmother spoke it, but my family thought it was just gibberish. It's a real language.
Okay.
If you can actually read my shirt, can you read it?
Girl, I can't read regular words.
All right.
all I know is
It
paycheck.
says, living my best life, ain't going back and forth with you. Yeah, but it's written in Gullah, right? So Gullah is our part of our culture. And we got to share these stories because my grandmother passed away being the only person in her lineage that could speak Gullah.
Right.
And
Hey.
that breaks my heart. I didn't
Hey,
know.
hey,
until
look,
she
Next time you
passed.
come on, we gotta learn a little more about that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I want to just tell people, man, if you got some older people still living in your family, man, please soak
Yes.
it up. Right? Please soak it up. Them people should be giving you something to last your family the next 25 years. Right? So make sure you're paying attention.
Yeah.
All right? You know what I mean? That's all I can say to you.
Okay.
All right?
Appreciate y'all.
Yeah.
Man. This was a
Thank
special.
you. It's
Yeah.
been good. It's been
Yeah.
good. Good.
We out.
Oh, man, my booty hurting.
Your booty hurt. You didn't get the good chair.
Man, I did. My booty
cushion?
still hurt, though.
Did you guys know the history of the flowers on baseline?
Yeah.
Japanese.
The Japanese people.
The
You
Japanese.
know why it was the way it was? Why you never asked yourself why were the Japanese people, so many Japanese people over the flower shops on baseline?
Well, I know that they're good at it, but no, tell me more. Was it part of the internment camps?
Yeah, they had one right over the mountain.
Yep.
They had one right over the mountain.
There was an internment camp?
Yeah, between Maricopa and like Awatuki, somewhere out there.
Wow.
And then
Never knew that.
sneak out every now and then to come like to the city in South.
Yeah,
It was like the closest little
Oh my
area where they
God.
could come get groceries, appreciation, and do their stuff. So when everything ended and they let everybody out, this is the
Yo.
outside the internment camp. Once we snuck out, South Phoenix was the only part that they had any familiarity with. So then they all came, and then of course they were doing flowers, but that's why the Japanese came there because of those camps that they built.
Oh my goodness, that's crazy. We didn't even know.